Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Outer Rim Rambling with myself, the Outlaw Adam Neeson, joined as always by the Jedi Knight Danny Brown. Danny, we've tried this intro a few times and I just about got it.
You did it though. You did it. Normally it's the outro you fumble, but today you couldn't quite get your mouth around that intro, could you?
Yeah, man.
Couldn't get your mouth quite on the rim, could you? Yeah.
Sometimes, as a great woman once said, as a great Ahsoka once said, you never go ask the mouth.
Never lost a mouth. Exactly. Hopefully people get that. I hope people get that.
Well,
If you get that, let us know in the comments below.
hopefully our guest today gets it. I would assume, Corey, you're a Kevin Smith fan.
Yeah, I mean, with the Star Wars, I feel like I would say with the Star Wars, I feel like I'm a 6-year-old man. Before with the Star Wars, I never watched the Ahsoka show. That's what the one point I think with the whole new stuff that I kind of was like, I'm stopping here.
Oh, why? Why did you stop there?
I think it was after the series, the previous Mandalorian, that series where they shot it all in that bloody volume thing, and it
Hmm.
looked so not very realistic. And I loved like first season of Mandalorian was one of the best things I've ever watched for me in the Star Wars universe. But yeah, there was a few of the things I think it was just how people get the Star Wars fatigue. But definitely,
Hmm.
of course, I mean, maybe talk about it later. But when Andor came along, it just came flying right back again, and it's the best thing I've ever watched.
Okay.
Well,
Nice.
joining us today, we'll do the intros, then we can jump in.
Yeah.
Joining us today is one of the leaders of the Ormeau Community Cinema, and the upcoming project Creative 26. It is Corey McKinney. How are you, sir?
I'm not too bad. Thanks very much for having me.
Thanks for joining us. I said before the podcast that one of the things that caught my eye was you had a list of movies that you wanted to show on the big screen. And the first one in that video was The Phantom Menace. Um, so we'll start there. Where does your love of Star Wars begin? And like myself and Danny, was your first experience of Star Wars on the big screen The Phantom Menace?
I would say it probably was, yeah. I think my dad got me into Star Wars at a young age. So obviously once the Phantom Menace came along, when was Phantom Menace? 19?
99. Yeah.
I would have been seven, yeah. So just that prime age, I think, when you're starting to really like find out what sort of stuff you're into. My dad was always big into sci-fi, loves his Star Trek, his Star Wars, his Doctor Who. So I was all definitely pushed into the sci-fi element of things, and to this day, I'm still a huge sci-fi fan. But yeah, definitely, obviously back then, Star Wars was the fact it was coming back amazing, and I loved, obviously people have issues with those films as the years went on, but I loved them at the time, the pod racing, all that sort of stuff, Darth Maul, unreal. Yeah. So yeah, loved it. Big fan of Star Wars.
And did the love continue on, or were you like me and Danny always say, Danny, if there was a piece of shite that had a Star Wars sticker on it, he would still love it. But
I'll be picking that up.
but I sort of was in love with it, fell out of love with it when I was sort of 16, 17, started to get into films and then circled back to it more in recent years. Would you be the same?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, yeah, obviously like those prequel trilogy when I was a kid, and then would have probably rewatched the 4, 5, and 6 as they were remastered and stuff. I think in my teens it would have been re-released in the cinema. They did all those sort of remasters where George Lucas added stuff in. Loved them. Obviously, they're in terms of from a filmmaking perspective, narratively much more successful films as well. Those three. So big fan of those ones as well. And then yeah, once I think I actually remember I was in uni, final year, second year, third year of uni, and we're sitting in the editing suite in Queens. And I remember when that trailer came out, which had Ray, and it opened up, and then oh, unbelievable, the Force Awakens trailer, like just like the scene where it all went quiet, and then you saw the Millennium Falcon with the music, like for me, top one of the top trailer moments ever. Still, even though that obviously that trilogy didn't. Wasn't for everyone's taste either. But yeah, so I was straight back into it then, when Disney had bought it over. I had no problem with those guys buying it over because it was getting more Star Wars stuff. And yeah, just getting into it. And then, yeah, watched some of the sort of offshoot shows. I never watched the Clone Wars growing up. I did try to get into it before the Ahsoka series come out, and I just didn't have the time to actually go through it all because there was so much of it. I was enjoying it, but it's definitely something I think if I had watched it as a kid, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. So I think that's why a lot of those sort of like, the Bad Batch and stuff and those kind of offshoot shows didn't really appeal to me because I'm basically someone, if some new series is coming out and there's like other series related to it, I have to watch all of the background stuff before I even watch a new one. So I was like, I'm not watching that just because I can't watch the rest of them, but I'm sure they're amazing. But yeah, yeah, that's kind of where it was. And then, I mean, I could talk to you for 3 hours about why Andor is the best thing in the world, but yeah.
What about with being a Phantom Menace fan, does Maul Shadow Lord appeal to you at all? But having not watched like Clone Wars and Rebels and that kind of thing, like, do you feel like you maybe won't partake of Shadow Lord because you haven't took those in, or being the big Phantom Menace Maul fan,
Yeah,
are you tempted?
once again, I don't think, unless I go back and watch them all, I don't think I'd watch that, to be honest with you, because because obviously I haven't watched. I'm aware of the fact that Darth Maul didn't die, and I was yeah, which is cool, very cool. But I haven't watched any of this stuff. But it's definitely interesting. It's nice to see that they're still continuing to make a lot of these shows because I do feel like a lot of the Star Wars love has kind of fallen off a little bit, especially with the main sort of stuff. But it's great to see that those sort of things are continuing to be made.
I think it's good to see, especially now with Filoni kind of heading up a lot of it, and he's kind of come out and said now like he's not here to impose rules within the Star Wars creative team. He's there to encourage and allow creativity to flourish.
Mm.
And I think to have somebody like that heading it up and to allow for creativity to prevail
Yeah.
will allow for great content to keep coming for Star Wars, especially because he with Clone Wars, with Rebels, with everything he's kind of put his hand to, he has brought so much to Star Wars. Again, for some fans, they love it, some fans not so much, but like he's still adding to what is already such a vast creative universe.
Yeah. No, 100%. I definitely think, I mean, I'm from like a filmmaking background. When Star Wars does the live action stuff with like practical effects, like I just think that is just you know, live big real sets, Grogu being just most of the time just a little puppet is amazing because like this day and age, you're rarely getting that in movies. And I think Star Wars, it definitely flourishes for me when when you've got those like aliens and the you know, they might not look real, that's someone in a suit or that's just an animatronic, but to me that in terms of the believability, I love that sort of stuff, yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I'm the same. I love when you can see, like, even going back and watching some of those older movies and seeing, like, the practical effects, creatures, and that. Like, one of the things I love, not Star Wars, but Planet of the Apes, and, like, seeing the real actors' teeth behind the monkey teeth. Like,
Yeah.
I live for that. Like, I love it. So to have those practical effects and creature actors and the likes of Marty Matullis, who's in Mandalorian Skeleton Crew, who we spoke to previously, be able to bring those characters to life through prosthetics and practical effects is just incredible. It's great to see that craft is not being outdone by CGI, you
Yeah,
know.
100%, yeah.
Danny, what is your favorite Planet of the Apes movie? And then what is your favorite song from the Planet of the Apes musical?
Dr. Sayus, Dr. Sayus, Dr. Sayus. Yeah, of course. Favorite Planet of the Apes movie, though. You know what? I obviously the OG, the very first Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes is like always going to be like a fave. But I do love the modern like Andy Serkis trilogy, and even to get to like I got to meet Andy Serkis a couple of years back at Comic Con NI, and him be such like a lovely dude and talk about it, really enjoying the process of making those movies and stuff. That was kind of like really nice and special for me. So I was kind of just I'm always going to go for that. But I also still really enjoyed the likes of I just like them all really. Even the most recent one, the was it the The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, a very wordy title, but I just see for like a month after I watched that film, just walking around going, "What a wonderful day!" was just like the best thing, and then I'd be like, "Would you please fucking stop?" And I'd be like, "But it's a wonderful day." Yeah, I love me some Planet of the Apes. Will we start a Planet of the Apes podcast, Adam, will we?
Have you seen the Corey? We will come to your Planet of the Apes. So get thinking. Have you seen the what do you call him? Dana Gould. Have you seen his podcast where he dresses in a full Dr. Seuss bodysuit?
No.
My friend, I shall send you
You
that
send
afterwards.
me, link me up, brother.
He just does stand up as Dr. Seuss.
Wonderful. That sounds incredible. That sounds like my cup of tea.
Mm. But Corey, do you go apes for apes?
Yeah, I mean, I loved all the new ones. I really did. Has there been three new films?
There's the
Or
Four?
Yeah, three Andy Circus ones, and then the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
And then this is the one that happens with so many films now where you get three sequels and then the fourth one is just the start of a new sequel, isn't it? Which
yeah,
I have no problem with because I honestly think they're amazing. When they were not like I love the what was the first one called?
There was the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and then the Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and then the War of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, and I actually absolutely love them when when I saw the trailer, the one that Caesar was no longer in. Is that the last one?
The
yep.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
I was like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this. I love that whole Caesar storyline. I would just like to see it continue. But I think I love that last one. I think I rated it like 9 out of 10 or something on IMDb. I thought it was fantastic, and I'm just excited to see more of those movies. And that is actually, in fairness, we talked about practical effects. That's one franchise where the CGI just rules supreme in that. It's just
Mhm.
it's completely believable and works really
Yeah.
well.
Oh, the mocap process for that is like I love watching the behind the scenes stuff for the mocap because of again, yes, it's CGI being used to its full effect, but you've still got actors bringing those characters to life through their body capture performance, and to have Andy Serkis kind of heading up a lot of that from his starting out as Gollum is just like perfect.
100%, yeah.
The thing I didn't like about the Caesar story was that they never got into how he created the salad. Anyway, since we've danced about it, Corey, let's talk Andor.
Mhm.
When you first, well, did you like Rogue One to begin with?
Love Drogon, probably my favorite Star Wars film.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And the idea of an Andor sequel, did that interest you from the start, or was it one of those sort of why?
It was the most why I've ever said in my entire life because I
Mm,
I loved Rogue One and I thought it was amazing, but obviously everyone knows the end of Rogue One he dies and I'm like, does people really need to hear his like prequel story and how's Diego Luna doing it? And this is like so many years on, surely he's aged a bit. And then like and actually we watched the first episode, me and my dad. And I didn't like the first episode of Andor. I thought it was, oh my, I was like, this isn't going anywhere. There was the bit at the end of that first episode where it was on his like home planet with his sister.
mhm.
And there was like, they were just talking in their language. And we were like, is there supposed to be subtitles in this scene? I was just like, this isn't great. And then I think it was like 3 months later, the reviews started coming in for like episode, as it went on, especially the ones with Andy Serkis. I think that was at the point where we were like, maybe we should go back to this. And then once you start to realize the kind of story, the way they did the storytelling with Andor, with like 3 episode sort of arcs in the series, which I thought was an amazing way to do it. Once I went back and started watching it, absolutely loved it. Just like fantastic, just storytelling class. The wee sprinklings of the Star Wars universe into it, amazing. All that sort of all the shots of all the like TIE fighters over I presume it was filmed somewhere like Norway or Scotland, looked unreal. I loved all those wee sort of things, but yeah, it was outstanding, and it just continued to get better.
And what did your dad think about it since he was a fan of the originals?
Yeah, he loved it. I think with sort of sci-fi stuff, my dad will get bored if there's not like spaceships and guns at some point, because obviously a lot of Andor is very dialogue heavy, and there is some episodes where there isn't really much action, and it's a lot of character development. But he absolutely loved it as well. He loves his storytelling aspect of movies. So yeah, he was a big fan, and I think it was just because the way Andor ended with that, sorry, with the way Rogue One ended, where it went into New Hope, um, it just showed that, there's always going to be, it's never just going to be dialogue. It's never going to be just chatting. There's always going to be action and great action as well. And Andor perfectly, there's so many themes in Andor which related to things that were going on in our world as well, in, present day, which was fantastic. Things that for me, I'd never really seen in Star Wars. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely we've spoke about it before, but it's like seeing Andor through this lens now, going back and watching something like The Phantom Menace. And then people used to joke for years about the Trade Federation and the taxes and stuff. To see that be in the news
Mhm.
now with America and stuff, you're sort of like, George Lucas is smart. It's not just Jar
Mhm.
Jar and falling in some poodoo. It's the man had some ideas.
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, that's a bit, a lot of people don't like the idea of hit films becoming like serialized on TV. Obviously, a lot of these big studios buy franchises and they bring stuff to TV. And sometimes, like, haven't watched the Lord of the Rings show, but I know my dad didn't like it. Some people don't like the way they do that, but I think Andor is a perfect example of like the sort of trade negotiation things that were in the Phantom Menace. Would probably work a lot better on TV with that sort of writer. Like, if Tony Gilroy did the Phantom Menace over like a 10 episode series, probably be lauded as the best, the best thing ever. But obviously with George Lucas, he's making a feature film. It has to be within a certain time frame. It's hard to get all that sort of stuff in that sort of movie. But yeah, the way they do it in Andor is fantastic. Yeah. Um,
I want a 3 hour Phantom Menace at it. That's what I want to see. But also a Tony Gilroy Phantom Menace has intrigued me to no end. I'd love to know his take
See,
yeah.
on that.
I
Imagine.
I'm just thinking of instead of Gary Oldman, it's Jar Jar Binks in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, yeah.
But with Andor as well, obviously me and Danny have spoke, but like a lot of connections to Belfast and Northern Ireland and sort of the way they deal with rebels and
Yeah.
the funeral in the first season. Did you feel that coming from here? Could you sort of connect with that as well?
Yeah, I suppose so. There was definitely elements of it that were really like that. I mean, when it dealt with themes in that last season of like people were saying it's the first time Star Wars ever used the word genocide. I think when Mon Mothma spoke about it in that scene. But yeah, there's definitely things in that film that definitely relate. I didn't really look at it through a lens of Northern Ireland. Maybe I should go back and look at it again. But yeah, that's really interesting take.
Yeah, it's a lot of from the finale of the first season, and where Ferrex, is that what that city's called?
Yeah.
A lot of like stomping bin lids on the ground, and a lot of stuff you would have seen in Belfast in the 70s. But we spoke to Piero Neil Mui, who played Mon
Erskine.
Mothma's assistant Erskine, and we sort of said to him about stuff, and obviously he's an Englishman. He was like, "Oh yes, right." So it's it's interesting to hear someone from here talking about it because I don't think we've ever really asked anybody from here, have we? Yeah.
No, no. This you're our first person from here to kind of to pitch that idea to, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely I don't I mean like a lot of stuff I think with movies coming out of Northern Ireland I'm sick of like as I was growing up sick of films with the Troubles. I want to hear something from Northern Ireland that's not about the Troubles. So I like to completely disassociate the Northern Ireland lore with any of the lore of things I'm watching for sure.
But what about the lore of the moped gang from the Book of Boba Fett? You all about that?
Like a bantha.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
Yeah, Book of Boba Fett was another one that, I mean, aspects of it were great, but I was just some of it was just completely ridiculous. Anything that was him in his ship was unreal. I just loved all
Mm.
that. As a kid, loved the best thing I think of this of the prequel trilogy is the sound effects, like the explosion sound effects
The
and
seismic charge. Oh,
seismic charge. So cool. Yeah, definitely loved elements of Book of Boba Fett. Interestingly, when that character came in, the like bounty hunter guy, the alien fella who's from the
Cad Bane.
had Bane, I was like, that's so like although I hadn't seen those cartoons, I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like for fans of those cartoons, bringing him in is so cool. And I watched a couple of clips of him in the cartoons, and it just worked as well in live action as it did in the cartoons. And rarely does that actually work that well. But yeah, I thought it was fantastic. But yeah, I didn't mind. Is it Teamy Morrison? Is that the name of the guy for this? Boba Fett? I loved it. I loved the idea of Boba Fett still being alive and just sauntering about. And I loved that he had a wee bit of weight on him as well. He wasn't like, slim. He had his perfect like Boba Fett armor, and then he's had a little belly, and I was like, he just loves a few beers. Yeah,
Boba the Pints Man. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but yeah.
I'm just thinking of, I just want, because I know people make do like boba tea, but it's Boba Fett. What
Mm.
about a Boba Fett armor, but the colors of Guinness?
Oh,
Ooh.
nice. That
Yeah,
Let,
would
yeah, yeah.
let's
Or
pitch that to Tyrone Morrison next time we see him.
Bulmer's Fett. Could be a cider. Yeah.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
be good. Be
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Oh.
Did you, I know you said there before we started the episode, you kind of said you'd sort of dropped off at Mando season three and haven't really taken in Ahsoka. Have you taken in any of the other shows like Skeleton Crew or?
Nothing yet, no. I
Oh.
definitely went a big Star Wars fan. I definitely got a little bit of Star Wars fatigue at that point. Too many shows to keep up with. Still trying to keep up with all the Marvel stuff as well. It
Mhm.
takes the toll. And
Drop
then
the Marvel stuff.
yeah,
Dip your toe in the Star Wars stuff. Are you, because I know you're a cinema man,
yeah.
you do cinema things. Um, I assume you're a fan of Amblin and all things that Mr. Spielberg puts out.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
So you like that? And do you like the Disney classic Treasure Planet?
Oh, Treasure Planet. Yeah,
Mm.
I don't think I've seen it since I was a kid, but I did like it.
But you enjoyed it at the time. So what I'm saying is, if you could get the combination of Star Wars and Amblin Spielberg classic and Treasure Planet and smoosh them all together, does that not
and
sound like your cup of tea?
That sounds really good.
Danny, the gorgeousness of Jude Law.
And the gorgeousness of Jude Law and the voice talents of Nick Frost.
Oh,
Does
wow.
that not? Are you not intrigued?
I mean, yeah, I definitely saw the trailer and it did look interesting. I was wondering if it was more aimed, like, definitely aimed at kids. Because, some of this stuff is obviously like, I think something like The Mandalorian can go to every age bracket. But I think I had read somewhere that it was mainly aimed at kids, or maybe it's not. You just can maybe.
No, I'd say it's good family fun in the sense of Amblin, like something like E.T. and
Oh, yeah.
Goonies, and that it's got that feel about it. And that's the hill I will die on.
Nice. I might
Yeah.
give it. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't speak down to kids. It
No.
is like those 80s kids movies that weren't afraid to kill people,
Hmm.
Like it's not like there's lots of pirate fights in it, in space and lots of like nice nods to things. There's the alien Danny from Michael Jackson's Captain EO.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So there's
Um,
references to stuff outside other Lucasfilm content, which is like, oh, and also from Ewok's Caravan of Courage and other wee like niche Star Wars things, and even a nod to the holiday specials with like a wee hologram appearance and stuff. It's a real treat for, I think, like Star Wars fans, but also like cinema fans alike. I think even if you say you'd never watched Star Wars before, but you came in for Skeleton Crew, I feel like you would be like, oh wow, this is just a really enjoyable bit of science fiction.
Amazing.
You know?
I'll have to give it a go. Yeah, one show I definitely want to return to is I only watched a few episodes of it, the Star Wars Visions. Um,
Mm.
'Cause,
Mm.
I'm a big fan of those, the Love, Death, and Robots that was on
Yeah,
Netflix.
hell yeah, great show.
Anthology stuff. And I actually just over the Christmas period watched is it Secret Level, the Amazon kind of version of that, where they did.
Yeah, the video games.
Yeah, some of them were definitely naff, but some of them were really good. But yeah, I definitely want to return that because I do love the idea of different like filmmakers and different like styles.
Yeah. Did
Yeah,
you watch how far did you get into the second season of it?
no, I just watched a couple of
No.
episodes.
There's the second season. So the first season's all like Japanese animation studios. The second season's like international animation studios, and then the third season goes back to Japan again. But there's one of the episodes, I think it's maybe episode four, is done by the Irish animation studio, Cartoon Saloon.
Amazing.
The guys that did Windwalkers and yeah, or Wolfwalker. Yeah, and what do you call the one about the Selkie? But yeah, Song of the Sea. Yeah, they do one of the shorts for the second
Oh, cool.
season, and it's a Star Wars Banshee story, which is just fucking class.
Very cool. Yeah, I'll have to watch that.
Hmm.
Also, some cheeky Aardman as well.
And a little cheeky Aardman episode, which yeah.
Yes, I saw that in the trailer. I want to see that.
But speaking of fine cinema, you run, well, you help run, of course, Ormeau Community Cinema. Would you like to explain to the fine folks out there what that is and how they can get involved?
Yeah, of course. So Ormeau Community Cinema, it's a nomadic cinema, so it doesn't have one fixed location. It pops up, used to pop up all over Ormeau Road, but in the last couple of years we've been all over Belfast. So yeah, we meet up once or twice a month. It depends. Just before Christmas there, we had a film on every week from September through to December, which was amazing. So we put on everything, every sort of movies. We actually don't do a lot of sci-fi because a lot of our like volunteers aren't really into sci-fi. So I would love to put on more sci-fi movies because they always do really well. So it's been running since 2019. I took over in 2023 as the chair, and I've been doing it ever since. It's been great fun. Our big events is our Halloween Film Festival and paranormal activity. So we put on a variety of Halloween films on the kind of 2 weeks leading up to Halloween. So the year before last, we did like a vampire themed one. So every film was vampire themed. And then last year, we just had a wee bit of a mix. We had a Halloween party in the pavilion. Last couple of years, we've actually had the Portuguese horror festival, Motel X, over, and they bring us like film in Portugal isn't the biggest thing in the world, so horror film in Portugal is even smaller. So they literally have like 5 films to choose from in terms of what to show. So luckily the year last 2 years ago we got the director of a film over, and then last year we got the star of another Portuguese horror film over. So and they did a little Q&A, and it's really cool having those sort of like connections. So yeah, we put on, we a lot of the stuff we put on is the stuff we love, but also we listen to the community, what they want to put on. As you said, you mentioned, see videos online where we share what people want to see. And yeah, it's a lot of the time our collaborations kind of dictate what we show as well. We did, so the reason we were so busy there last year was we obviously had our Halloween Film Festival coming up, but my partner Claire, who runs Lit to Tit, she had put forward the idea of a rom-com film festival. So we did that in September. It went really, really well, very successful. Loads of people in Northern Ireland love the rom-com films. So we ran that through September till the start of October. So yeah, I think our our collaborations, our festivals are what we love doing, and really exciting collaboration coming up actually here in 2026. I think we announced it on socials there last week, which is Films from Seoul. So the last couple of years, back in 2022, I was the graphic designer, I think, at Ormo then. One of our volunteers, Rabia, who's from Palestine, he came up with the idea of films from Arabstan, where he put on 5 different Arab language films from all different countries that showed that spoke Arabic, and it went really well. We had a lot of Arabic speaker people come through and really enjoy that festival. And then 2 years after, I was in conversation with an Italian woman who was studying at Queen's, and she really wanted to put on films. So I was like, we'll bring films from back, and we did films from Italia, and we did 5 Italian films that went really well. And then same thing happened last year. We got reached out to by the new food spot on Ormer Road called Soul Food and Studio. And a lovely woman there runs it called Jay. It's the first like Korean food spot in Northern Ireland. And she contacted me, said she loves what we do and she wanted to put on a film, and I met up with her. Really interesting backstory. Jay used to work for Netflix randomly in Korea and just in the finance side of things, but she definitely has a lot of like, that sort of those sort of connections. So I was joking with her whether Netflix was going to buy up Ormeau Community Cinema when they were buying all these other companies up. I wouldn't mind. So yeah, she's really interested. The reason it's called Soul Food and Studio is that she wants the whole studio element of it to be like a sort of community-based thing where she could put on like book clubs with Claire Lit Tit, or obviously films with us. So instead of doing like um, a Films from Seoul festival, we actually have organized a residency there. So the last Tuesday of every month in 2026, starting in February, there'll be a Korean film shown alongside a curated menu, which is influenced by the film, which is going to be really good fun.
Cool.
So Jay's already starting to play about with sort of the menu for that. The hardest thing for this is finding films to put on because most of the time, films with Orm Community Cinema, we like to show films like 90 minutes to 2 hours tops. Because obviously people not sitting in a normal chair in a restaurant is maybe not the most comfortable thing. Now, I don't know if you've seen many Korean films, but often they're like 2.5 hours. They're also really dark. There's a lot of blood and violence in them. So it's a couple of selections already. We're like, does people really want to be biting into chicken while they're watching, Train to Busan or whatever?
I want you to put on Old Boy whilst I eat a live octopus. Okay, that's what I want.
That's pretty nice, yeah. So Jay has loads of suggestions of Korean films that I haven't even seen, but I think we'll probably start with something well known, maybe something from Bong Joon-ho, maybe like Mother or Memories of Murder, something that'll really draw people in. But these sort of food and films events are very popular, so I don't think we'll have any problems. Hopefully.
I'm sold. I'm going to be there.
Yeah, please come, please come. It's going to be good fun.
Favorite Korean movie, Corey?
Hmm, that's an interesting one. So during COVID, my mom got such a random story. My mom during COVID, her one thing she wanted to always watch every single weekend was Korean zombie movies. I
Hmm.
think so. She got fully into Korean zombie movies. We watched it. There was one called Zombie for Sale, which was a great fun. It was just really like it was almost like Shaun of the Dead, but in a Korean countryside. It was really cool. There was one called Psychokinesis or something like that. It was like a kind of a superhero one where like this what was that? Remember the Will Smith film where he was like a crap superhero? Uh,
Hancock.
Oh,
yeah,
Hancock, yeah.
it was similar to that, just like an old Korean man that got the power of like flying and teleportation, all that sort of stuff. It was really cool, but yeah, it's still something like I don't know if you've seen The Wailing. I
Mm.
watched it a couple of years ago. Yeah, that was insanely good. Anything by Bong Joon-ho, I'm a big fan of. Snowpiercer was class. Parasite is amazing. But yeah, the zombie ones, the way they do zombies is just terrifying. It's
Mm.
just short like 28 days later it kind of brought in the fast running zombie, which was really scary. But yeah, the way they do them, I don't know if you've seen Train to Busan, but like it's like waves of zombies. Like that's just nightmare fuel.
Yeah, fantastic film.
Stanley?
Fantastic. Old Boy. Hands down, Old Boy. Like I love that like Vengeance trilogy, but Old Boy in general. Old Boy was the first one I seen, like first Korean film I've seen, so I think that's why as well kind of hold it in such a high place. But yeah, the likes of that, Train to Busan's fucking class two. Ichi the Killer is one that I wouldn't call it like a favorite, but it's one that I always kind of think about. And I think about it more so because I remember I did psychoanalysis in film at uni, and I was talking about for one of the seminars we had to do a presentation, and I did about perversion in cinema. So I showed the opening scene from Each of the Killer, the dude's it's like POV of the peeping Tom at the window, and then like cuts down to like the like cum dripping off the plant, and then it like turns into the title sequence of the film, and I was just like, I'm gonna put this on in front of a whole class of people, because I was an edgy boy back then. So yeah. Oh, yeah, probably, but yeah. Oh boy, what about you, Adam?
I love me some JSA, some joint security area. If either of you've ever seen it,
Mm,
Corey. Danny Treat. It's about people that work on the border between North and South Korea.
ooh,
And they just become mates, but then obviously they can't be seen to be mates.
that sounds like it could be lovely, but also heartbreaking.
Oh, it's there's a a photograph features at the start of the film and at the end of the film, and through the movie, you obviously see the photograph have a different meaning by the end. It is heartbreaking, but
Uh,
it's good shit.
yeah, I'll
Um,
get on that. I'll get on that.
it's funny you mention your partner Claire as well. Claire and me go back years. But she runs Lit to the Tit, a very successful book reading club. So just for us, if you want to plug Claire's Lit to the Tit for the people who listen as well.
Yeah, so Live the Tit runs, it's a female book club. They do events. Their residency at the moment is in the Watson
What's
bar. Yeah, or residencies down there. So female book club, they run stuff, but they also do silent book club, which is once a month, which I've actually been to. So that's open till all genders, men are allowed to come as well. It's really good. You can go around and you can get a drink and sit and read a book in silence amongst other people. It's really cool. And that's not something I've ever done before, but it was really class just being able to just like chill out and like read amongst other people. So that's really cool, yeah. And yeah, Claire's obviously that's how we met. She was involved in Ormeau Community Cinema back in the day, and she still has a big part to play in all of the rom-com film festivals and a lot of our successful collaborations recently. Yeah.
Tell Claire Adam says that he has a book recommendation for Lit to the Tit.
Hmm.
It's Star Wars Galaxy of Fear.
Well,
She'll love it.
well, you might
Oh,
be interested. So me and Claire joke because she has lit this hit. So I was like, I'm going to start a male book club called Picks to the Dicks, and it's just going to be
Mm,
guys, and we read picture books. Just it's
class.
literally that,
fuck
just
yeah.
the picture.
Listen, where do I sign up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Where?
it's going to go. I was just going to put on some, get your favorite picture books from a kid, and we'll just go and read
Can
them.
we all get the DK picture encyclopedias that would have came out
Fuck yeah.
in association with other films? Did you know, right, Corey? I'm gonna drop a Star Wars fact on you here. Did you know DK had to get bought out by Penguin Publishing because of the Star Wars Phantom Menace visual guide? They believed so they got the rights to do the Star Wars visual guides, and they were like, "Class, this is great! Like we have made it big."
Yeah.
And with Phantom Menace coming out and all the hype around it and the trailer dropping and stuff, they're like, "We're going to make a fortune off the Phantom Menace visual guide." So they printed 300 million copies of the Phantom Menace visual guide, and then it went out and it did. It sold massive, but it didn't sell 300 million copies massive. And basically bankrupted themselves and had to get bought out. They had to get saved by Penguin Publishing because they overinvested in the Phantom Menace visual guide. And there's probably like a storehouse or a landfill somewhere that's just filled with excess copies of the Phantom Menace visual guide.
Yeah, it's one book. You'd think it's something you'd see in every single. You know how you go into every single charity shop, and it also always has Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code. Like that's the book.
Don't
Everyone.
slabber about my book, mate. Don't be slabbering about my book.
Yeah, but that is everywhere. And I've actually got a copy as well. Haven't read it. But maybe I'll get you to sign it.
Oh, of course, yeah. Whenever I come down for the Soul Film Food Night,
I can almost remember what the Phantom Menace visual guide looks like.
mhm. Yeah, I just remember. I think it's on the back cover. You've that big Darth Maul head that was just on everything in 1999. Um, what about what you said there? You wanted to screen more sci-fi. I
Hmm.
assume, obviously, Adam's already mentioned you want to do Phantom Menace. What other sci-fi picks would you have? What else would you like to show sci-fi wise?
Amazing one would be Alien. I think Alien would be class. Big fan of everything that's kind of happened with Alien recently. I'm a fan of the TV show. I'm a fan of Alien Romulus. I think it's really cool. Anything like that, I think would be really cool. I'm a big fan of stuff like The Fifth Element. I would love to shoot
Mm.
more like sort of niche sci-fi movies that not everyone's watched The Fifth Element. Wee ones like that, yeah. But I think I'm not sure why we've never really done it. I think sci-fi films are somehow it's harder to sell in community cinemas. I don't know what it is,
Do you
but
think so?
yeah,
Mm.
because I do think, I do think there's a great desire for them. Now, I feel like my first year or so of doing Ormo, there was a sci-fi film they showed, and it just didn't do well. And ever since that, nobody's actually done them. But we definitely need to come back to it because one of our other volunteers, Neil, he loves sci-fi as much as I do. So yeah,
Yeah.
we need to put some on.
Oh, 100%.
Any other outside of like franchises? I do think something like franchises like Phantom Menace is probably not something we'll do because we don't really do those sort of films that have like sequels. Like we showed Kill Bill, and it just felt a bit like I kind of want to do Kill Bill Volume 2 now, but just because of the niche way of we putting on a film each once or twice a month. We wouldn't really do that sort of those sort of films. But is there any sort of sci-fi films you think we should show that maybe isn't part of a trilogy?
Ooh, well, I definitely think as soon as you said Fifth Element, I was like, yeah, 100%. I would love to go see a screening of the Fifth Element. It's one of my faves. Um, we showed at Fright Club and we showed Aliens last year, and it went down really well, and we actually managed to get like a bit of a Q&A, like a pre-recorded Q&A beforehand with the Aliens Expanded documentary director,
Oh,
which was interesting, kind of, something, a nice little addition to that. But it was one of our, more successful screenings of last year. So I think you can do franchise ones. It's just, it's how like how you sell them and how you build them. Because I know we did a couple of years back, we did an Arnie double bill where we did Terminator and Predator, and it
class.
also went down well. But there's other times you do stuff like that, and people maybe say, "Oh, I'm coming to one, but not the other." We did a Poltergeist and Thing double bill, and like a load of people bought tickets for it, but only turned up to see the Thing. They weren't interested in coming to Poltergeist, so it was kind of like, oh, okay. So yeah, it's a funny sell sometimes, but yeah, Fifth Element I think would be a class screening. Like I love the Fifth Element. And other side, what I would love to screen, and it's one of those films because it was a flop. I think a lot of people kind of forget about it, but I love it. John Carter of Mars, the Disney one that they kind of binned because they got Star Wars. Fuck, I love John Carter of Mars. I'd happily
Yeah.
uh go see or put on a screening of that. Adam, you're shaking your head at me. Don't you judge me, man. Don't you judge me.
I went and seen that, and halfway through went to the toilet, and it was one of the first genuine moments when you're walking back to the toilet. I was like, I could just walk home because I missed nothing.
No, man. Where did you get up to in it when you were about to walk out?
They were in some sort of cave.
No, you got to stick with it. You got to stick
No,
with it.
I
It's a good
watched the
show.
whole thing. Like,
Yeah, and no, not sold.
it wasn't like Disney. I didn't return to Mars.
Oh, oh no, I've
Um,
always got time for John Carter. What would you do, Adam?
I would show Galaxy Quest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, sort of underrated. Anniversary may have passed, but like great performances all around. Tim Allen, Alan Rickman, Sigourney Weaver, Tony Shalhoub,
Hmm.
Sam Rockwell. Loads of faces that like went on to do bigger stuff, like a Dwight from The Office. But I think an underseen comedy as well.
Yeah.
Um, Especially for like Star Trek has sort of not blown up again, but like become fashionable again.
Mm,
And I think maybe a lot of people haven't seen Galaxy Quest.
love that film. I think I watched that. That was one of those ones. I don't know. It came out early 2000s, maybe. That's what I know.
So maybe the year 2000.
Yeah, definitely one of those ones I thought was hilarious at the time. I haven't
Hmm.
watched it since I was a kid, but yeah, I would go back for that. Mm.
Uh, but it was the year 1999. Maybe it was overshadowed by fucking Phantom Menace.
Yeah, probably.
But Corey, here's an idea for you.
Hmm.
May the 4th this year. It's a
Hmm.
Monday.
It's
Oh.
bank holiday.
It's a bank holiday.
Hmm.
How's about we get the VHS copy of Phantom Menace, and then afterwards all the boys sit in the back and we play the PS1 game as well on the big screen.
That is a great idea. We love when you have a screening that has something a little bit extra to it. That would be so good. Oh, sounds good fun.
I'm just saying, I have a PS1. I have a PS1 copy of the Phantom Menace. We've already looked up to see how much a VS copy of the Phantom Menace is. Like,
It's
we
four
have you
quid.
covered
We
if you
could do it.
need a couple of helpers. Like,
Yeah, yeah. We have a pod racer tournament afterwards. Just
here,
Fuck.
I have Pod Racer on the Switch, so we'll just get a few Switch controllers sorted.
sorted. To be honest, an event like that would do really well. Any sort of events that obviously have those little bit of extras attached to it, are always good on. Like we did practical magic, and we had a tarot card reader there. Just it went out
Ooh,
so well. Yeah, we think like it would be class.
yeah, yeah.
What about instead of white Russians, blue milk Russians?
Blue Russians.
Blue Russians?
Yeah.
That's what they call Avatar in
Mm.
yeah.
But 2026, very important year for yourself. If you want to tell us about your personal project coming up called Creative 26.
Yeah, thanks very much. So Creative 26 is kind of born out of my kind of desire to get back into photography. I obviously probably have heard as I chatted earlier, studied film, really into film. I'm a freelance videographer, do a lot of corporate stuff. Not it's creative in a way, but a lot of my way of making my money is through videography with the likes of the Belfast City Council, the likes of the Health and Social Care Trust. Really great projects, but I want to kind of get back into doing a bit more creative stuff. And I'm writing a lot of stuff at the moment, writing a lot of screenplays, doing things like that. I've books and books of stories that I want to get off the ground. But yeah, one of the things is just trying to getting back into that sort of like creative mindset with filming and photography because I love taking photos of people. So I just had this idea. It actually started as Creative 24 and then I like shelved it. Now as the years go on, the fact that I'm doing 26 people now just makes it longer. So I have to do it now for because it's actually looking at the plan of it, probably gonna have to do it every like couple of weeks to fit it in the year. But yeah, recorded the first one today actually, with a friend of mine, Connor McGinley. He's like a graffiti artist, who runs Pigment Space, is a new art studio on the Ormeau Road. So yeah, the plan for Creative 26 is to interview creative individuals around Belfast, Northern Ireland, take some photographs of them, some headshots, some photos in their workspace or wherever they feel comfortable getting their photograph taken, and then do a wee bit of an interview about what they do, how they got into what they do, and just kind of put it together a way to, really promote them on social media. Obviously some people, creative individuals, some of them are really good on social media and good at putting themselves out there, and then some people aren't as apt in doing that sort of stuff. So I just want to kind of level the playing field with that, with just 26 individuals and doing different things. But yeah, man, I was interested to try and not overlap, try and not do like the same sort of creative job. I think I got to like number 24 and I was like, I need to start Googling different creative jobs because I'm starting to run out of things. I was like, architect or kind of, yeah, then it's creative. So yeah, I'll probably, I'll do like an actor and an actress or things like that. I'll do maybe a couple of musicians maybe, but yeah, it really depends. So I've really left it open. I have like seven, eight, nine people that I know I want to do the project with, and then as it builds and builds, hopefully more people will reach out. So there is a few of the kind of creative roles that I've put out there that I haven't got the people for, and I'm looking forward to just get new people in. If you guys want to be the podcasters, by all means, we'll do a photo shoot with you guys.
Yeah.
Things like that, it doesn't have to be, an artist. It can be literally because, creativity isn't in all walks of life, which I think makes it really exciting,
I will wear my Jedi garb for you. It's fine.
100%.
Mhm.
That's what you walk about daily with anyway. So
Yeah, exactly. That's it. This looks like a hoodie. It's actually just casual Jedi wear.
We could just do the Jedi's and we just do a completely deadpan as if these are actually Jedi.
Actual Jedi. Yeah, Adam, there you go. There's your reason to get a Jedi outfit. Just saying. You do have your
mm,
scoundrel outfit though, so you could be.
and
That is
my
our whole shtick, Jedi.
slave Leia outfit, of course.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've got my inflatable Jabba one. That'd be an even better photo shoot. But that sounds class, man. Like it's cool that you're kind of trying to give more of an outlet for those creative types out there and sort of allow them to be seen in that way. And it's allowing you to be creative whilst supporting the creativity of others, and that's really cool. It's really nice.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, and actually, Connor today, speaking of niche film ideas, Connor wants to put on the '90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and
Fuck
then
yes.
throw a pizza party alongside it with the Charlies from across the way. They're gonna pick us up.
When is it?
We're probably gonna do it. Maybe it'll probably be the start of spring. Yeah, once the warm weather kind of starts to come in a little bit more, we'll do it. So yeah, need to get Charlie's on board for that. He's been chatting to them, so they want to collaborate and stuff. So I think that would be really cool.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. There used to be, I don't know if he's still about. There used to be a dude I think he is Belfast or Lisburn based, who has like one of the ninja, like a proper Ninja Turtle style costume, like one of the 90s movies ones. And if you could get him on board, like you'd be flying.
Class.
I'll have to look. I'll see if I can if I can find out who it is again. I'll let you know. I can't remember my off the top of my head, but I'll know ones who know ones who know ones who know. So yeah, I'll certainly reach out if I can find out for you.
How personally do you keep yourself creative? Because before you come on, me and Danny were talking about BBC event Danny was at yesterday and sort of
Hmm.
Yeah, that
spitting.
Greenlit 2
Mm,
for BBC and NI Screen was on yesterday, and it kind of it gave me a bit of a notion to get the finger out and get creative again because I haven't been really in so long. So
Yeah.
how do you yourself find that kind of desire to keep motivated and keep creative?
Yeah, definitely. I think I did a master's, I think 2018, went and went for worked for Panasonic for a year. I was like there working with their camera division, Lumix. And then actually just before like COVID hit, I was working in, so one of my old lecturers at Queen's, was the new lecturer at Ulster University, and they asked me to be like the technician. So you probably studied at uni, the camera technician. I was like, that's such a cool job. I'm just out of uni myself. So I did that. And that really introduced me to like kind of working with young people. So basically, since 2019, a lot of my creativity has just been helping kind of young people unlock their creativity. I think so.
mhm.
Last year, I worked for a company called Wheelworks in Belfast. They're a children's arts charity, and working with young people, teaching them films, teaching basics of film making and stuff like that has been really great. So yeah, and definitely continued writing. Issue is now I have like 30, 40 story ideas that I want to get off the um off the ground. But definitely it's probably with writing is the way I keep creative. And now that I think in the last like 5 years or so, understanding that short film or feature film isn't the only way that you can tell great stories. I think so. I would love to collaborate with maybe with a writer to help write a book. I've worked. My brother studied games design, and we've have talked about plans of doing like a wee short video game. I was interested in doing things like radio plays. I think are a really cool idea for storytelling. I've listened to a couple of cool ones down the line. I think audiobooks as well are getting so popular now and making them more immersive. So yeah, just trying to keep the creativity rolling. But the issue is now that I do have like 30 ideas that need to go off the ground.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's the same for me and Danny. It's like we put a lot of our time into this show, and we had other stuff. We would be part of different podcasts and trying to get stuff off the ground. And I think this show has sort of focused our energy into a lot of stuff. Like we did a holiday special put up on YouTube, and like I always to make at least a short film a year, just a sort of thing. And last year I didn't get to make anything, but that to me felt like it was creatively satisfying enough because I got to use that editing part of my brain.
Yeah.
But it's the same like when we do this, just talking. It's like we are editing while talking. Like a lot of the podcasts, we put in sound effects. Like we were talking to Marty Mateus because he worked with Urkel.
Mhm.
Um, and me and Danny afterwards were both like, we're putting the Urkel clip from The Simpsons in.
Yeah,
Like we knew
like
what
Urkel.
like Urkel. So it definitely is. It's like even if people are listening to this and they feel like they're not creatively pushing themselves, the smallest things is still a big win.
Oh
100%.
yeah. Like know that when you said seismic charge or when we mentioned the seismic charge, like the seismic charge sound is going in for the
Hmm.
satisfaction of everyone involved.
That sounds great. Yeah, you're doing a class job. I mean, I think back in COVID, I did a radio show in Queens called Film Frequency, and we turned it into a podcast during COVID. It was great fun, just being able to be like creative with your friends and just chat about movies is class. I think we really fell by the wayside where we decided to do an episode covering like an entire decade of movies. We were like we're like we'll do films from the 70s, and we'll all come on and like talk about our favorite 70s films. Next thing, it turned into like a 4 or 5 hour podcast. We got like top three films from the 70s, and you got like four guests, and it's like, okay. But yeah, it's great fun.
What's your favorite film from the 70s?
Oh, oof, I'm not sure. I don't know what my favorite film was from the 70s. What was it?
I'll hit you with mine. Mine's Harold and Maude,
Hmm.
which is 70 on the dot.
Is the original Star Wars 77?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think probably pick Star Wars. Yeah.
Danny?
I need to look up films that are made in this. I'm awful with dates, so I'm
Mm,
kind of I'm kind of like obviously Star Wars. Like Star Wars is going to be up there. Jaws.
mm.
I think I'll go for a bit of Jaws and Let me see.
Isn't it weird that the 80s are more
Yeah.
Yeah,
memorable?
memorable. But even
Memorable.
because I wouldn't like, I know obviously Jaws had their anniversary last year,
Mhm,
but like I don't think of Jaws as a 70s film. Like
mhm,
it stood the test of time. Like I don't look at it and be like, oh, that's so 70s. You
mhm.
know, it's timeless. So yeah, Jaws. I'm looking through a list here. Chinatown's on there. It's pretty good too. Apocalypse Now. Fuck, there was a lot of good films in the 70s. Exorcist, Wicker Man, Omen. Good year for horror actually.
When
Hmm.
did the two Jakes come out? That's the question for you.
That is real. Here, actually, American Graffiti as well.
Oh
George
yeah.
Lucas kicking it off that year with American Graffiti. Talking of sci-fi films that you could screen, Close Encounters of the Third Kind
Mm.
would be another great choice for sci-fi screenings.
What
Um,
what is your take on the latest Spielberg that will be coming out this year? Well, how did the trailer tickle your fancies, or did it not?
Last year I went, it was my mission to watch everything Spielberg ever made. TV,
Mm.
movies, everything. Um, his worst thing, the Twilight Zone movie, probably. Um, some hidden gems, but then whenever I seen that trailer, because it had at the end of the year, I was like, "Oh, you've hit me at the right spot, Steve." Um, but looks great. I think um, Emily Blunt is interesting. I
Yeah.
always think she always picks great projects.
Mm.
And for Spielberg to be returning to alien stuff, because I think War of the Worlds is really underrated.
Yeah.
Um, the last 20 minutes don't do it for me, but everything up until then is fantastic. Uh, but it's very promising. The whole idea of the sound stuff in the trailer, really interested me. So I hope it's a winner. Spielberg to me has never really done wrong. I think he just has some bad, like Sugarland Express. I'd watched for the first time last year, and like it's rocketed up to like one of my favorite films ever. It's so good.
Yeah, I haven't actually watched the trailer for his new thing yet. I think it was one of those ones like I kind of seen that initial like teaser that
Mm,
went up and was like, I must check this out. And then I never checked out because you know what? It's one of those things. See if I kind of tell myself I need to go do it,
mm.
I won't. But then if I accidentally stumble across it, I'll be like, this is great. But yeah, Spielberg in general, like I do love me a bit of Spielberg, but I actually still haven't seen Sugarland Express, so I must go give that a wee watch myself.
Treat yourself to that. And I think is it the anniversary of Jewel?
I do love me a bit of Jewel, like.
Mm.
Hmm.
Corey, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Jewel, I absolutely love. That was one of the ones. My dad showed me, I think quite young. But yeah, in terms of his new one, I wasn't really sold on the trailer. I love Josh O'Connor. I'd watch anything he's in. I think he'll be really good in it. It was like the CGI animals at the end of the trailer. I was like, oh, it's a bit naff looking, but yeah, if he does it right, it could be cool. And yeah, hopefully it's one of these trailers that doesn't really give much away, so
Mm.
I'll love more in the films. Yeah.
You know, one of our Adam and I's favorite things about Steven Spielberg is have you ever seen the clip of behind the scenes when George Lucas is showing Steven Spielberg the B-1 battle droid for the first time?
I think I have.
He's like showing him like like a life size maquette of a B-1 battle droid, and they're just like George Lucas is explaining how it's going to be like this massive battle in Naboo, and they're just like it's going to be great, it's going to be great, it's going to be great, it's going to be great. Like it's so good.
Goes on for 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
But that'll do us for today. Corey, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Just again, how can people get involved with Ormeau Community Cinema?
Yeah, so we're Ormeau Cinema on Instagram. That's kind of where we mainly post all of our stuff. All of our films are on sale at ormeaucommunitycinema.com. We're gonna have a lot more films coming up this year. We've had quite of a quiet like little start to the year. A lot of stuff in the back burner, getting everything sorted. So yeah, we're gonna be doing a lot of screenings this year, I think. But yeah, films are all available on ormeaucommunitycinema.com, and most people are on Instagram. You type in Ormo Cinema, it'll come up on any of your social medias.
And don't forget, guys, May 4th, we'll be drinking Blue Russians.
I'm playing Star Wars Pod Racer.
Yeah, of course. Even if you don't show it, we'll just be outside the bar just playing it.
Yeah.
and on our Switches. Danny, any plugs?
Yes, Adam, I do have a plug. Saturday, the 18th of April at the Braid Arts Centre, Ballymena, we have something strange and unusual for you, a celebration of sci-fi and horror film fair. We will have traders, cosplayers, artists, and hopefully a couple of very special movie guests. So be sure to come on down to that if you are free on Saturday, the 18th of April. Check out the Fright Club NI social medias for more.
And I'll also be there repping both Fright Club and this very podcast.
Hell yeah.
If you want to come down and buy some prints or possibly t-shirts, and I'll give you some stickers and a kiss.
Mm.
If you
The
don't want to,
kiss is consensual, of
yeah, yeah,
course.
yeah, 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 of
Yeah,
course, of
yeah,
course.
yeah,
And if
yeah,
there's no stickers left, you still get a kiss.
yeah,
You
yeah.
get two
And I'll,
kisses.
yeah, I'll come over and give you. We'll kind of come at you
Mm,
each cheek, like Adam
mm,
on the right, me on the left, just mwah.
yeah.
If I'm not running around like a headless chicken trying to make sure everything goes okay.
100%.
Yeah.
But thank you everybody for listening. Check us out on the socials, the usuals, your Twitters, your Facebooks, your TikToks, your Friendsters.
That's the second Friendster reference you've dropped today.
Because I watched Drop yesterday. The fucking terrible. I reviewed it on Letterboxd and call it Plop. About the woman who fucking gets airdropped messages on her phone. Terrible. But at the start of the movie, there's an old guy, and to like show that he's old, he's like, "I met a woman on Friendster." And for the whole movie, I was like, "Oh, yeesh." Annoyed me so much. Um, but yeah, check out our Friendster profile and doesn't even exist anymore. I'll look it up after. But join us next week for more fun and shenanigans in the stars. And as always, we have friends everywhere. Thank you guys.
Bye bye.
Defense calls George Lucas.
George Lucas!
State your name and latest film.
George Lucas, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
And do you think Phantom Menace is as good a movie as Empire?
Well, certainly. I think it's the best movie I've made yet.
Permission to treat this witness as hostile. Mr. Lucas, how do you explain that in Star Wars, Obi-Wan tells Luke that when he met his father, he was a great pilot, but in Menace, he's just a little boy?
My kids thought.
And how come Obi-Wan tells Luke that Yoda is the Jedi that trained him, but in the movie, Liam Neeson trains Obi-Wan?
The power of myth.
Isn't it true you knew this was a bad movie? That you wrote it over a weekend but kept telling people it was done for years?
Objection, Your Honor. The pod race was pretty cool.
May I remind the court that Your Honor has never been in a George Lucas movie, and you were age appropriate for the Liam Neeson role.
I'm going to allow it.
I want my $8 back. Get him out of my sight! The defense now calls Steven Spielberg.